Muted, Randy.
Nope. Okay. I'm sure you've heard the expression, that's wrong on so many levels.
Oh yeah.
Well, here it is.
Nah. And nothing like a little humor to start things off.
That's it.
That'll work. Thanks, Randy. All right, sorry. You guys can go back to talking about your Chuck. Or not.
Is Scott? Are you on yet?
Scott.
Tig?
Yeah, he's on.
Go ahead, Al.
Hey, I was talking about sharpening this carbide bandsaw blade.
Yep.
And you were telling me to get a certain type of I guess file.
Stone.
A stone. Can you
You
tell me the
gotta
name?
I don't have it in front of me and I'm not at home, so I'll get it for you next week. Al.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
It's a stone by Norton. It's made for sharpening carbide.
Well, I mean, I'm going to really get involved with you and ask you maybe a face-to-face one time. Show me exactly how to hit each one of those teeth.
Just like you would a normal tooth.
Just
the front edge of the tooth.
Okay, all right. Just like you're cleaning it.
Yep. You shouldn't. It'll take you a long time before you're going to sharpen those carbide teeth. I mean, you got new blades. You shouldn't have to sharpen them many times.
No, it's still wrapped up over there, and the old one is on now. So, I mean, I just haven't done it yet. And I do want to learn how to do it.
Yeah, you just sharpen them like you would a normal. You're going to hone that tooth just like you would a normal tooth. You know, the front edge of the tooth.
Okay, all right.
Somebody showed how to do that on the last tips and tricks.
Yeah, I saw you do something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was you. Yeah.
Yep.
I just didn't know if it was the same procedure from a regular blade and the carbide.
Yep. It doesn't change no matter what kind of tooth it is.
Okay, that's good. Thanks. Where you at? It looks like you're in a cabin or something. It looks like a wood wall behind you.
Yep, that's where I am.
Very nice.
Hey, Dane, I like that post you put on the Facebook about from Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, it's about the truth, isn't it?
Yeah, I just saw a quote from Clint Eastwood. He said that the Democrats would have built a wall years ago if the illegal aliens had voted Republican.
Yeah, true that. But we're into the meeting, though. No politics.
Okay.
Yeah. Save that for either at the very beginning or for the after hours.
I didn't know we were in the meeting. Sorry.
Yeah. No worries.
What's the funny word? Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Some of us don't make the after hours, Dane.
What, Martin?
I said some of us don't make the after hours, you know. Only sometimes we make the after hours.
Only sometimes.
Dane?
Yeah.
We're having our demo early tonight, I understand.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, well, can I just share something?
Yes, you can. Let me spotlight you.
I can.
All right, you can spotlight yourself.
Let me see if I can find my share screen. I can spotlight myself, Dane, you know me.
I got you. I'll
just have a look.
Got this laptop with this little mouse pointer. You can really cruise around on the string pretty quick compared to a phone.
Yeah, well, I'm having that problem as well because I cannot find my share screen button. But I will find my share screen. Yeah, share screen. That'll do.
There we go.
As
Look at
you-
that guy. He looks
As
familiar.
you guys know, or some of you will know, I have spent a fantastic weekend. And I just wanted to share this picture because I need to say a special thank you to this guy because he really did make my weekend very special. Although he speaks very good English, he translated an awful lot for me over the weekend, and we shared a lot of English words that neither of us knew.
Outstanding.
So I just thought I'd quickly share that with you. And later on, if I'm still about, I will share some of the pictures of the work that was over at that particular event this weekend. Because for me, I certainly said to my group, the idea of wood turning is to share your work. And the display of work that was on the table was everything from outstanding down to people that put work in that was good. But what was good about it was their work, and they felt like they could share it with everybody else. It wasn't all turned work that people could never achieve or feel like they could never achieve. It was a table full of stunning work that nobody had any kind of, that's not good enough for the table. Everybody showed and put out what they made. And for me, that's very much what wood turning should be and will always be about. If you are pleased with what you make, show it, because somebody else can learn from it. Certainly in the English community, there is a few people that think their work is far superior to everybody else's. And that's not the case, because everybody's work is superior to somebody's work, if you want to look at it like that. But for me, nobody is any better than anybody else. We can all do our own work, and we can all get better. And one of the things that I constantly said, when you can't learn anymore, you are not a very good wood turner.
That's right.
You're right. You're right. Who was that guy?
Matthias Beer, who was our demonstrator tonight.
I am so glad that you announced him, Dane, because I can't. he gets Matthias from me.
All my years of living in Germany.
Yeah, no, he just gets Matthias from me, or Beer.
Beer
is better.
Beer is great.
Alles klar.
That's my name, and it's a great name.
Yes, it is.
Good evening, everybody.
Welcome,
Matthias.
Good evening.
Hi, Martin. Nice to meet you again after only a few days.
Yeah. Good journey back.
So, and yours was longer.
Yes.
Better than the way to go without flat tires and.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, we had a really good morning in. I'm not even going to pronounce that either, but it was the place effectively where Pinocchio was made, and it's certainly the turning paradise of that part of Germany. I could have spent days there. There was many workshops. Then we went off to a museum where they showed us all the history of the lathes and the way that they turn them. Of course, the animal turning, the ring turning. So we got to see the ring turner. The ring turner was there turning wet rings, how the wood was stored, how the lathe was worked by water wheel back in the day. Basket weavers. I could have spent days and days there. But we really couldn't because we needed to drive our way back across Germany to Belgium. And then we stayed in Antwerp on Monday evening in the jewellery quarter, which really opens your eyes on how much money is lying around in gold. And then the short ferry trip back home overnight last night to arrive back in the UK 8 o'clock this morning. So yeah, it's back to reality with a bump. But it's a good bump because there's a few orders on, so I can start planning my next trip.
Yeah, good for you, Martin. Well,
you've never been in Switzerland.
No, Switzerland
Nice.
is on my agenda, but I would like to go to Willy van Hout's open day this year in September.
Yeah.
I've kind of got that one earmarked, and then there's 2 or 3 more. Like I said, I think you broaden your horizon, you open your eyes to different techniques, to different ways, and you're able. I'm certainly able to come back to the UK and very much say just because it's different, it doesn't mean it's wrong.
Oh, that's my phrase.
Yeah. Well, I'm adopting it. Just because it's different, it is certainly not wrong. You say that tool is the only tool. Well, how can he make it as quick or even quicker with that particular tool? And you see different techniques and different ways. I found a skew that I'd never ever seen before with a hook on the actual skew to be able to do the Christmas trees.
Yes.
So, it'll be grindstone in the morning and let's have a play. So yeah, there was many different tools, many different techniques I learned over the weekend, and many exceptional turn-ins. But when I say exceptional turn-ins, Matthias, you haven't been about this group. Jim Duxbury here. His kaleidoscopes are out of this world, and how his brain works, nobody ever knows. Some of his turn-ins are totally outstanding. You go on, Dane does some fabulous holoforms, but if you'd have been part of this group, Band-Aid Brenda, that we don't call Band-Aid Brenda anymore, her turn-in over the last couple of years has just gone from strength to strength. You've got some guys in this group that started out, they didn't even know which end of a chisel to hit the wood with. You will be absolutely amazed at some of the connections within this group that I've made, and some of the stuff that I've learned from this group of people.
Indeed.
The only one you've got to watch is Safety Sue. Watch Safety Sue because she will be on you like a.
Quite on right.
Well, you've certainly taught us a lot too, Martin. You're a huge asset to the group, and I've learned a ton from you.
Well, we've been around for too long, as guys.
Yeah, we have.
The group's been going a long time, and we've made a lot of friends in amongst it. And I think we've all learned from each other. And like I said, it's different techniques, it's different ways, it's different tools. And the European turning certainly opens my eyes. And it is about constantly learning. You know, even before I went over to Europe, my posts on Facebook were predominantly that I was looking so forward to the DFT to learn. And learn is the ultimate word, because like I said, if you know everything about wood turning, I don't believe you're a very good turner.
Indeed.
Yeah,
I
Indeed.
agree.
Well,
I agree.
It's people who use carbides have stuff to teach me. The people who, you know, I had my I usually rough with my deep fluted bull gouge these days, but I started teaching and they didn't have a lot of those, and they had the spindle roughing gouges. So I got mine out of the drawer where it had been for 5 years, and I've been learning more stuff on that too. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I have watched this on my Facebook. Carbides, non-carbides, traditional carbides, traditional carbides. It's gone like that over the last 10 years. Recently, there's a lot more people talking about carbides. And one of probably UK's best turners, and I'm allowed to say he is the UK's best turner. And if anybody wants to argue with it, he's fourth generation turner. You will all know who I'm talking about. It's Steve Jones.
Yes, Steve Jones. Absolutely, he is.
Now,
No argument from me. If I ever want to learn something if I ever want to go to the shop and do ski work, I look at his videos first.
Well, when
I'm sorry,
Steve
go ahead,
Jones,
Martin.
when Steve Jones turns around and says, "It is not the tool that you use; it is the user of the tool that creates." Carbides have a place. They have a place in your tool arsenal to create what you need to create. Now, whether you use carbides for all of it, part of it, some of it, just end grain is entirely up to you, because it's your workshop and it's how you reach the end result. I had a conversation earlier on. Somebody had said that the handle of the guitar had taken him a long time with carbides. Carbides predominantly are going to take you a lot longer to do a spindle than they are a bowl, an inside of a bowl. So instantly you kind of say, there's your difference in your tools.
Important security message.
If you want to race Steve Jones with your carbide against his skew chisel, I know where mine is.
Not on your life.
indeed.
Not on your.
All right, folks, we're at the top of the hour. So we got a little bit of a celebrity in for us. We got Matthias Beer in to do our demo for this evening. So as typical with all demos, unless it's solicited from the demonstrator, there will be times when Matthias will be doing changeovers, and he may or may not solicit questions from the group. But in the meantime, let's hold everything to the end of the demonstration. Feel free to put them into the chat during those breaks. Typical as whenever I do it for any other demo, I'll ask those questions that are put into the chat when I know it's a safe time for Matthias to be able to respond to them. And so with that, I am going to mute everybody. And then Matthias, you'll need to unmute yourself.
I think I'm unmute. Okay, here I am. And you're muted too.
Yep, we're all muted except you.
There we go. How's that? Sorry, I had the wrong one unmuted. So Matthias, I'm gonna go ahead and put up your social media slide, and then at the same time you can go ahead and talk about it. All right?
Okay. Yeah. Good evening, everybody.
Contact information. There we go.
Okay. Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much to have me here. But first of all, sorry for my English. And if you have questions, just please talk slowly because so I will understand better. Thank you very much.
All right, there he is.
Good evening.
Evening.
Yeah, thank you, Dane. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And also for the introduction. And first of all, I would like to introduce myself, just a few minutes for that, and then we will start. Yeah, I'm Matthias Beer, and really Beer is my name. It's not just a joke, but it is my name. And I'm a wood turner and a professional wood turner. I'm turning for 40 years now. I started in 84, yes, in 84. And I did a wood turning apprenticeship in Switzerland. That means that you work for a hosting company for 4 days a week, and the 5th day you go to school. It lasts 3 years, or it lasted 3 years in my time, but now it's 4 years. And they do also very complicated stuff, more stuff, and different materials too. So it's still a very, very interesting apprenticeship. I worked in a company, we produced, just producing kitchenware, like yeah, peppermills, you know, nutcrackers, and handles for everything, fork handles and so on. And yeah, hundreds and hundreds, and that sounds really boring. Also, if we talked already about Steve Jones, he still does it, and he always says, no, it's not boring, but for me it is. So I'm happy that time changed, that I don't have to turn, for example, the chair handle, no, handrail columns. That's a job I really hated. And so I'm very happy that this is not, we don't do that anymore. Yeah, but it's it became harder to make a living from wood turning, because in the beginning I started by myself, by my own, in 90, and I worked for joiners, for cabinet, or for furniture makers, like legs for tables and all this stuff. Or I worked for people who restored old furnitures and all that, but it doesn't exist anymore as a work. What I do now is more teaching. That's the most I do, or I live from teaching. And then I do demos in the whole world and online. Yeah, that's I met Martin last weekend in Germany, and we really had a good time there. That was a fantastic weekend. Very interesting also for me, because it's the cradle of wood turning, of I think of Europe mainland wood turning, it's really incredible. There are other spots, but as he told, wood turners everywhere and special techniques, and it was super interesting. And then I have some piece here to show you what I do now. Of course, I do all the stuff you can sell on markets, but what I prefer doing is coloring. That's my yeah, I love that. Yeah. So of course, the difficulty of this is finding the right piece. But if you find a piece like this, it calls colors. And I have another nice one. Yeah, probably you have seen these pieces because I also post them on this group.
On the group page.
Yeah, this
Beautiful.
is another really nice piece I love. And the last one is this one. This is a birch pearl, and on the back it's quite dark, but on the burly part it is
beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I love these three pieces, and I didn't bring them in Germany because I was a little bit afraid about the border control, because we are not Europe.
Right.
So I only brought smaller pieces, but I love this one. Yeah, I don't know if I forgot something about me. I don't think so.
It's a good intro. We'll get more the next time we have you on.
Thanks. And today I want to show you something more technical, not that artistic, but a little bit more technical. And what I'll do, it will be a freehand perfect sphere. That's what we will do together this evening, or for me it's morning because it's 1 o'clock and it's already Thursday. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, a freehand perfect sphere. That's a plan for today. And yeah, this one
little wet.
The crack was already in, so it dried, cracked, and then I turned it. So it is still perfect. And I do a lot, but it's now some time that I don't. Like this one, for example, is a fig tree, and the same here. It's a perfect sphere, but with this crack in, and this is the same one, but I first turned it and then it dried, so it is not round anymore, but this one is still perfectly round. I have more of them, and of course I prefer spheres with something special in. And so they really have no reason to be perfectly round. You could do them also freehand about the sphere. It would be enough, but you will see the technique I use it's something I really love doing. So every time I do a sphere, I use this technique if it needs to be perfect, or also if it doesn't need to be perfect. I have a piece of olive wood for today, and olive wood is very interesting because in the hardwood is every time very not colored, but
The striations of grain.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if you just turn a cylinder, usually you are still in the sap wood and it's boring. But then a sphere, you have always more parts, so you can see the end grain part, and it's very nice. And then you can see the side grain part, and it's more boring, but it's a very nice wood. I love it. And yeah, so let's start. Before starting, any question?
Any questions, anybody? Floor is open.
Fig tree. Around here, fig tree is real soft.
Sorry.
You have a different kind of fig tree. Ours is real soft wood, real
okay.
punky almost.
This one is really hard, very heavy and very hard. And you will see later, I will create a jam jack for that. We will work without the center point, and the fact that is so hard and very compact will be a little bit difficult to make it stay in the jam jack. Yeah, before I start, I will show you what I have prepared for doing that. So yeah, this is the piece of olive wood. Then I have a piece of maple. I will use this for the jam jack, and a jack, of course. My face shield, I will use that only for starting. You have seen there is some bark on, and you always risk that a piece of bark flies in your face or whatever. So in the beginning, I will use the face shield, and then I have I will need this caliper, yeah, and the gouges I will use are my preferred roughing gouge, a 40 mil roughing gouge. I still have this from my apprenticeship, but I really love this roughing gouge. And then I will use a simple
spindle gouge.
Spindle gouge, thank you very much. And the parting tool, of course. Yep. I love this one, diamond shape. I have a skew, and I won't use it as a skew, but it will be a scraper today. Okay, sorry, Steve Jones. And I have here also a bowl gouge. I will use the bowl gouge for creating the jam jack. I will use both gouges, the spindle gouge and the bowl gouge, just to show the technique I will use. And that's it. Yeah, I have also well, I don't know how it is called. It's just to remove the bark, the loose bark from the piece
Like a
of
badan.
wood.
Chisel?
Chisel, simple chisel. Okay. So I already prepared the center for my drive spore, and
Can we switch the camera, Matthias?
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Sometimes you have to remember me that, because
No
I
worries.
often forget. Okay, I have
It's for standing.
I
So
do.
Matthias,
Yeah.
we have a joke, or what we coined the wood bits that go flying. We here in America we call it, well, here within the group we call it birdwood. So off
A
Deutsch
bird.
it would be Flugholz.
Flugholz or
Yeah, yeah,
Vogelholz. Yes, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I hope okay. I have to admit, I have prepared the second piece, a spare piece, so you never know.
Yeah.
I
John's
didn't
gonna,
want to tell you that, but now here we are.
like the Boy Scouts.
Hey, we all do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course we do. I have live streams usually Saturday in the afternoon on my YouTube channel, and yeah, the problem of the cameras, switching the cameras, is every time the same. Sometimes they don't have the possibility to talk to me, so sometimes I work for a few minutes and I don't realize that I'm on the wrong camera. So that's about the cameras. Okay, I just will remove the loose bark, but mostly the bark is stable, I think. No, not that much, no. Just the loose parts. I think that's okay like this. And I will put on my face shield. That means that probably the sound will be a little bit
Muffled.
yes,
Alles
but
klar.
just in the beginning, and after I will remove the face shield. I put the microphone in my front because I can't put on the face shield and the microphone together. And I have seen the question. I don't watch the chat, but just this one I saw. So the size of the piece is 12 centimeters. Sorry, I am a centimeter guy, not an inch guy. You have to do the math by yourself. It's 12 centimeters of length and about 9 of diameter. And my idea is to do, I hope that it works, to do a 8 centimeter sphere. Oh, let's start the lathe, and this is the wrong direction. Okay, now here we are. Okay, I'm running by 1,500 RPMs. Nice grain in the olive wood. I have still a little bit of bark here, but I don't care about that. I want to do 8 centimeters, and now I'm on 80, 84, 83.5 millimeter. I will go to 81 in the beginning. You will see the reason in a few minutes. Okay, here we are. And I'd like to say something about safety also. Probably, and Martin has seen that in Germany too. We have less safety standard, or not a really high safety standard. That's we are not used to that. I started wood turning, and when I started with Facebook, I had to learn that we have to pay more attention. Not, I didn't learn it at school or in the hosting company, but I learned that on Facebook that the safety standard, especially in the United States, is another that than ours, and so you will see very often German or Swiss wood turners and say, oh, what's about safety? And yeah, we don't really have this high standard. I have to admit that. And so sometimes you will see making me stuff you wouldn't do by yourself, but yeah, I'm sorry for that. Okay,
No, it's okay.
now the diameter is now 81. Let me check. It's 80 already. Okay. And I should have, where is it? I prepared a piece of cardboard for making a template, but it disappeared. Ooh. Windy weather. Oh. Yeah, found it. I prepared this. Yeah, this is the camera. This piece of cardboard. I will use this as a template after, and to create the perfect diameter, I will put it now on my piece of wood, and it will burn a little bit. And by this, I can, because with the scissors, I didn't have a perfect arc, yes, and now it is perfect now. Okay, that's the template we will use later, and the next step is signing 3 lines, and these 3 lines we have really to do one measure with the caliper I made. It's 80 the diameter, and now I will sign the center, and I will sign the left end and the right end. So this is 4 centimeters and 4 centimeters, and the center line, that will be the equator.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see that, but now I will. Now you will see that. Okay.
Yeah, we can see now.
Oh, not very good, I see. Okay, but I will add 4 other lines, because I will add half a millimeter in the length on every side, and I will add 1 millimeter in the middle. So in the middle now I have 3 lines, and on every side I have 2 lines. The first cut I will do is a straight cut down with the parting tool, and it's very, very important that this first cut will go down straight, very straight. It shouldn't be conical in the direction of the inside of the future sphere, especially. If it is conical a little bit on the outside of the sphere, it doesn't matter. We can correct that later. But if it goes to the inside of the sphere, we will not be able to correct that later. So let me do these 2 cuts, and I will do the cuts a little bit. So if you are not sure that you will be able to cut really perfectly straight, so just do the cut a little bit outside of the line, and then you can do a second cut. If you're sure that you can cut it straight, so cut on the second line. Both sides. And we can remove the wood that we don't need. I do that with the roughing out, but probably you are more comfortable doing it with the spindle gouge. Both is okay. Now we have not the final length of the piece, but the length of the approximative sphere we will create before doing the perfect sphere. The next step, if there is a question about this, probably order skew, of course, absolutely.
Matthias, you went to the second line, the one that's 1 millimeter or half a millimeter outside of the original line. Is that right?
Exactly.
Can you tell me why you did that?
The next step here is to create an approximative sphere, but the approximative sphere should be a little bit bigger than the final sphere. So that's the reason.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next step is the approximative sphere. And that is probably the most important step in all this in all this process here, because the better you make the approximative sphere, the better will be the result of the final sphere. That doesn't mean that it has to be very spherical. It's not this, but if you do an approximative sphere on the left or on the right side, the approximative or hemisphere on the right side, the other side should be equal to the first side. So that's more important, not the perfect sphere or the good sphere in the beginning, but the both of the hemispheres should be equal. That's important.
Makes sense.
Remember, the center line is already the perfect diameter. I do that with the spindle gouge. Oh, that looks already pretty good. So I go a little bit more down on the left and on the right side. I left by parting, I left about 2 centimeters of diameter, just to not have it too thin and have vibrations. But now I'd like to go a little bit further, and you can hear already that it starts to vibrate a little bit. And now you have the 2 choices. You can decide by eye visual control, and you can decide, okay, that's quite equal with both the sides. I could zoom a little bit in, I think.
Ah, looks good.
No, more doesn't work. Okay. Or you can use the template you prepared before, and you can check it and decide where you have to remove more material. But it's as I told before, it's not that important to have already a perfect sphere, but it's very important to have both sides equal. And I'm happy with this. It looks very equal. I could remove a little bit, but I don't think that it is really necessary. No, I'm happy. So that means that I will turn a little bit more down here on the left and on the right. I could do that with the point of the skew, and I will do that with the point of the skew. And on one side, I cut it. And this piece is
Straight away.
away too. And the first important step of our sphere is done. Any questions about these first steps?
So we have one question asking if it is of equal length.
It is equal. Sorry,
Almost
I didn't
has to be.
understand the last word.
No, on it being equal length on each side for it to be a sphere, it has to be the equal
It
length.
has to be equal. That's the most important thing. The equal length on both sides. That's the most important thing. Yeah. So I have 4 centimeters plus half a millimeter, or 40 millimeters plus half a millimeter on every side.
Right. Bob, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that answered it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
I thought that's what it was, but
Else?
Yeah, no worries.
Nothing else?
Alles klar.
Okay. So we will put by side this piece on this approximative sphere, and we will prepare our jack, our jam jack. You can do the jam jack in cross grain or end grain. It is not very important. Personally, I prefer these jacks in end grain because they tend to crack less. Because when I prepare a jack, usually I will use it for a while, not only for one sphere, and so if it lasts a little bit longer, it's better. Also, if you use it for a while, if you use it just once, it's not so important, but cross grain will move. So when you will use it the next time, it won't turn perfectly, and you have to refine it, and that means that your jack grows. It's always for bigger and bigger and bigger spheres, while the end grain chucks don't practically move, so you can use them always for 80 mils, for example. Okay, let me prepare the blank for the chuck. Roughing. And then I have my chuck with the 70 mil jaws, and in compression it is perfectly, it fits perfectly on 62 mils. So I will create a tenon with 62 mils, and for that I will use my caliper again. I put my caliper on 63, use the parting tool. Oh, that's 63. Perfect. And let me just say something about tenons. But it's a fixed idea of mine. I think a tenon has to be cut, not created by the parting tool, but it has to be cut. So you can do it with the skew, but cut, not scratched, scraped. Or you can do it with the spindle gouge, just doing a nice clean cut here. Why have I this fixed idea? Now this is maple, so it's not that important, but very often you have by scraping, you have on the side grain, you have tear outs, and in these places the wood is softer because you have more air. The grain is a little bit more open, and on the other two parts the grain is closer, and when you close the jack it tends to wobble a little bit. Now you can say, okay, I can recut it and then it turns perfectly, but when I want to use my jam jack more times, so every time I remove, I want to be sure that the next time I use it, it turns perfectly. And that means that I prefer creating a perfect tenon, cut tenon, and not scraped tenon. Okay. And now I removed this millimeter that I had more. Now the diameter should be 62. It's a little bit less than 62, but still enough. And now I have a super clean tenon, and I can be quite sure that it will turn perfectly every time I mount it on my jack. Okay, while I change and mount the jack and then mount this piece on the jack, I have time to answer questions if needed.
If anybody has any questions, floor is open. At the moment, there is no questions
Okay,
asked
that-
in the chat, so
that-
carry on.
That means that I explain well.
Yes. Yes.
I hope so that this is the reason for no question.
No, you are being very good on describing what you are doing.
Now this is it's my jack, and it's just put on very well on the spindle, and then let me mount this piece, and then we can check if it wobbles or not. Shouldn't. Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's just rectish.
Next step is a clean cut. Oh, that was my sphere. It's already round enough to go down to the floor.
Yeah.
Let me just do a clean cut in the end crane here, straight down. Also here we have always several possibilities to do these cuts here. I can do it with the skew, and I love the skew, so I will do it with the skew. Okay. Another possibility would be the spindle gouge, same story. Oops. But you can do that also with the bowl gouge. I prefer that bowl gouge for that than the spindle gouge, but the tool I really prefer is the skew. Okay. Now,
Matthias, we have somebody that has a question. Howard, go.
Yes.
Dewey, go ahead, ask your question. Howard Johnson, ask your question.
There we go. I noticed whenever you was using the skew to make the end of your piece there square, that you beveled the edge before you
Yes.
actually do that. Why did you bevel the edge?
It makes me starting easier. If you go, and you have seen that I did the same cut with my spindle gouge, and I didn't cut the edge, and I immediately had a little catch. You can still see the signs here. If you do if you cut the edge, now you can start with your bevel rubbing the end of this cut, and it makes you just start much easier. If you have to start immediately with your point here, it's easy that you have a little in German it's called Nürnberger, like people living in Nuremberg, and I don't know why it's called like this in German, but it makes you start easier. That's not a thing you have to do, but for me, it makes me start easier.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you. I'm always very, very happy about questions like this. And so feel free, please. Okay, and now I will do something that I don't know, probably some of you won't know this cut or heard about, but never tried, or I don't know. At least here in Germany, in Switzerland, it's not very well known, but I did that during my apprenticeship very often. It's the back hollowing. I have to prepare a sphere, a jack for my sphere. I will sign the diameter a little bit smaller, means 78 about. I will use this camera for now, and coming a little bit closer so you can see the piece here. Change camera. Okay, now yeah, this is a good position, is it?
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, you can see this line here. This line is about 78 mils. Our sphere is 80 mils. Our jack will be 79. So a little bit smaller than our sphere. And to now, end grain hollowing is always an issue. I know that, and we have several possibilities. And I really love the possibility of the back hollowing. So I do that with my spindle gouge. I could do it also with the I will show both with bowl gouge with a fingernail shape, and you can see it is a bowl gouge with a double bevel. So on the inside, with the double bevel, I can reach more depth, and I got a cleaner curve because I have more space to move. I will slow down a little bit for this technique, and then the most important thing is rubbing the bevel all the time. And then you start like this, and you work about from the center to 1 o'clock. And if you watch the shavings, you can see that it's a clean cut, a super clean cut. You may say, just for a cut or for a jack, we don't need this clean cut, and you're right. But it's always an opportunity to exercise a technique, difficult technique. I can do the same, and I prefer doing it here with the spindle gouge. Why do I prefer the spindle gouge here? Just because it's longer. This bowl gouge is quite short now, and with the spindle gouge I have a little bit more. It does the same job, huh? Now, let me do that without turning the lathe, and I'll try to go a little bit more in this direction. Okay, my handle is under my shoulder, and I have to be very stable, and we have to rub the bevel in the whole process. You can see the bevel is always in contact here with the wall of my future jack, and I have a second rubbing point, and it's the edge of my future jack. You can see that here, and it turns quite hot, my tool, and I work with these 2 points. This one, rubbing the bevel. If I would work on 2 o'clock, for example, you can see the bevel is not rubbing anymore. So the good place and depends on the grinding angle. And if you have another grinding angle, this is about 1 o'clock. And with another grinding angle, it could change a little bit. But the important thing is not the where I work, but I have to work always in a place where my bevel is in contact. The bevel has always to rub. And then we have a third point here on our tool rest, and this is these 3 points. They gives me a lot of control. And yeah, let's go a little bit deeper and a little bit more diameter. So I start with the depth. I go deep, and then I slowly enlarge my can turn in both directions, but only that's when you lose the bevel. Okay, should be or could be ready. It's still a little bit too small. Now our sphere has to fit in without covering the centers, the 2 centers. So it should fit in with a hemisphere, but not the whole. It should fit in like this is the center, a little bit less than the center. So the depth probably is good, but the diameter isn't. And for the diameter, I will now use the ball gouge, because this, you have seen that before, is a little bit aggressive in this zone. And with this fingernail grind, I can do that a little bit better, I think. Of course, for a jack, I could also just scrape it out. It's a jack, yeah. But I do that. I love doing that. I love this technique, and this is a good exercise. More. I already learned there in Germany that they have another shape for their gouge, spin gouge, only for or especially for the back hollowing technique. I tried that. It's sharpened from the inside to here I am. From the inside too. So it's sharpened here. And the bevel is only 2 or 3 mils. And I tried it. Someone gave me one to try, and it works very well. You can reach more depth with this grind, but I found the finish a little bit less clean. But probably it was because it was the first time I used this gouge. So this is not that bad. I will do one more cut, and you can already see that it doesn't come out. I already have to use my hammer, this one, to put it out. Yeah, that's great. I really think that it should work. One more cut. You know this. One more cut.
Yeah, nightmare.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, and now I will stay still stay on this camera for a moment, but before I go ahead, I give you a moment for asking your questions if you have.
So we have a question asking, are you twisting the gouge more as you reach the outside of the diameter?
Let me go back. You mean here?
Yes.
So yeah, it comes automatically because you have to wrap the bevel. So you have to twist. You start with a really open gouge, and then you have to close it for you because the cut is on the other side. So it must be really close. So you twist it from it's
Riding,
90.
as you're riding
Yeah,
the surface to the outside diameter.
From 12 to
You-
like 3 or something.
you have, otherwise you would lose the bevel, and if you lose the bevel in this technique, you have really bad catches.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
You don't want to really cut on the edge. You want to cut on the tip, right? More toward the tip rather than on the flat edge of the wing rather. Say the wing. You're not cutting on the
No, not the wing. The wing is not used. No, we're right. It's just here on the point you cut, and then you wrap the bevel behind the
it's like any other
point.
thing.
Yeah.
So that means that your tool rest is much higher than center line.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Much higher
Usually.
than center.
Usually I have the tool rest not that high, but now I'm higher.
Right.
No, I'm perfectly on the center.
Yeah.
So it is horizontal, my tool now,
Perpendicular.
and then you have to go down. But there is also people working with the tool rest here. I'm not very comfortable, but it's probably just because I'm not used to do it. I learned it otherwise. So you can do that also, and that could be a little bit easier. I don't know. That's one thing that everybody has to try for
Indeed.
himself. I think it's very often that you learn something, you feel good, and then you don't try anything else. But it's also good idea to try it in a different way. As Martin said before we started, and I really agree 100% with him, just because it's different, it's not wrong. Or try it.
Exactly.
If you see something that is different than your style, try it, and then you can decide if it's wrong for you.
Sure, I think
you.
it's smoother cut too, right?
So probably, yeah, I don't know. But when I have the tool rest here, when I do the curve, then I tend to touch or this part of the tool rest gives me a little bit of annoying or disturbing, or so I prefer working like this. Other questions?
That clears it up.
Okay, so next step is mounting our approximative sphere on our jack, and you can't mount it just how you want, but the important thing here, and you can use a pencil for this, you can do a circle here, and then the middle line has to cut the circle perfectly. And then we know that our equator is exactly on the axis, on the turning axis of our lathe. So now it isn't. It is a little bit on this side, so I have to bring it a little bit more on this side. It's too it's too much on this side. I have to bring it a little bit more on this side, and for doing that I can use a hammer. The only thing I forgot to prepare, but I have one here. Yes. Okay, so to do that I can just hammer a little bit here and then retry. I can switch on the lathe, do a circle, and then check if the middle line cuts perfectly in the center of the circle. I'm not sure if I am explaining that so well that you understand. I hope you do. Please, can you confirm that?
It's coming across clear to me. Hopefully it's coming across clear to everyone else.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Seems like to make sense. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks. And now we have, you remember, the center line of our approximative sphere is the only place that is already perfect on the measure we decided. And everything here is a little bit bigger and a little bit longer. You remember that we have 1 millimeter more in length, half a millimeter for every part. So it is bigger than this line. Now, the only thing we have to do is removing everything that is more than this line. That means we just cut until we touch the line, but we shouldn't remove the line. That is very important. Don't remove the line. And the problem is we don't see the line, but we can feel it. So we will turn until we feel with our finger that it is round, and then we can also stop and check, of course. We can use the bowl gouge for that. We can use the spindle gouge for that. But the important thing is now we are not turning end crane anymore. We are turning cross crane. And that means we have now to turn from the center to the outside and not from the outside to the center or to the axis anymore. Now we have to start here. We have to remove not very much here because we are very close to the line. And the more we go here, the more we have to remove. And in the beginning, we can use the spindle gouge, but I have to move a little bit my headstock. Okay. And after we can use the spindle gouge, rubbing the bevel and doing a proper cut. We can, after, because it is a little bit hard to do to bring away a minimum of material. So we can also do a scraping with the bowl gouge, or we can scrape that, as I told in the beginning, with the skew. Now I will start with the spindle gouge, and then for the last cuts, probably I will use the skew. I don't know if you can see that very well, but you can hear. This is the material that is more than our center line. I start here. I rub the barrel and I cut. I can see through the material that is more than the line. So for a while I can just cut and I see through, and I see if I have to remove more or not. But after a while I won't see through anymore. And of course, also from this side, I can cut, or I have to cut. And now I can start to scrape or also shear cut is a good solution. And now I feel there is still material to remove, but I would like to have a look at it, and we still see the whole line on this part, we still see the whole line on this part, and you can see I cut now until this spot here and until this spot here. So there is still to remove a little bit of material. And just to show also the third solution, we can do that. And if you use the skew as a scraper, don't use it horizontal or don't use it like this, but use it like a little bit pending.
Tool handle raised, just like a scraper.
Yeah. And in this wood here that is very, very dense and compact, I don't create any tear out with this scraper, but in a soft wood, especially in conifers with very soft part on the growing ring and a very hard part on the growing ring. So the early growing part is very soft, and the autumn growing part is very hard. So you will have a lot of tear outs using the scraper. But in this wood here, using a scraper is a good solution. There is still material to remove. You can see that. So let me go ahead. I'm not a scraper guy. I'm a cutting guy, but in this case, the scraper is a good solution. And I learned it like this. This is part of my final exam of the wood turning apprenticeship. I had to create a sphere, a perfect sphere. 1/10 of a mil was permitted, and more than 1/10 was bad for the final note. I'm on a very good way. Still here is a little bit too much. Good. Okay, you can see here, I already touched the line. So there is a little bit of line missing. That means here I don't have to go ahead, but I can eliminate a little bit here and a little bit on the left side of the center. So here I'll switch to the other camera now. or tell me if you want me to switch back, but I think.
Oh, this is good.
Okay, I think I'm fine here with this. And now half of my sphere is done. I touched a little bit here the lines. That means that it wasn't probably perfectly equal. That's the reason. That's the only reason. But it's really a minimum. I think it will be a good sphere. Now, you saw we don't need a center point here. That is now hard to remove. Oh, it came out. Good. Now, obviously, the jack is too big. You can do that. Sometimes it works for both hemispheres, but rarely. So that means that I have to shorten a little bit the jack. And deepen. And let's try deeper. And try again. Okay, that's it. Now we don't have to redo the center because now on this part we already have a perfect on this part we already have a perfect sphere. So it is in the center. We can be a little bit more like this or a little bit more like this, but it's always on the sphere. So we don't have to pay too much attention to that now. Just a little hammering and oh, I have also prepared something. I will show you that later. Okay, same story on the other side. First cut, just cut a lot because there is still a lot of material to remove. And then still and then we go ahead with the scraper. That means that I have to go a little bit higher with the tool rest and okay, there is still a lot here to remove. Yeah, it is. And here it's difficult to check. No, nothing. That's good, good. And from here to here, here a little bit and here a little bit. It's a good day for me today for the midnight demo, because tomorrow we have a holiday. So I can sleep tomorrow or today for me.
Always good.
Yeah. That was because I immediately agreed with this day when you
Right, I remember.
gave me the date. That's a great moment. Okay, okay. I really think that we are done with this, and I would start with sanding, but before sanding, I will answer questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Floor is open. Just don't talk over each other.
The back hollowing, do you have to do anything different if it's a side grain rather than end grain?
If it is,
If you turn that piece the other direction 90 degrees, do you have to do anything different? You know, like a bowl, you're cutting end grain, side grain.
no, you can't absolutely use this cut. No, you shouldn't, absolutely not, because you have if you have cross grain, you will hook in immediately. That doesn't work. And also because in cross grain, let me just change the camera for a moment. In cross grain, you have to work from the outside to the inside, so you don't have any reason also to do the back hollowing. If you do it in end grain, you always have to move to work, or you should work from the inside to the outside.
Right.
Also, if you scrape, it's better scraping from the inside to the outside. And then back hollowing is a really good solution. Another good solution, I love that, is the ring tool or the hook tool. But no, never use back hollowing in cross grain.
Okay, thanks.
It's a pleasure. Okay, we switch again the direction or of the no, that wasn't what I wanted to say. Okay, now sanding these pieces is very important, or not very easy. I will change the camera again. Sorry. Okay. Because now this sphere is quite good in precision, and now when you sand too much, you know, here and here we have end grain, and here we have side grain. End grain is harder than side grain. When we sand too much, we will create an egg, not an egg, but an oval, because we will remove less material here than here. So it's very important that we continue to move our pieces during the sanding process. And it's also very important that we reach a good clean cut or scraping clean, so we have less to sand. That makes us changing less the precision of our piece. Now, I know it's really rare that you have to create a perfect sphere. Also, if it is 2 or 3 mils out, it works well. Nobody sees that, but it's a challenge. Okay, I sand with an inertia sander, and but it doesn't really matter. You can do that by hand, by machine, or by inertia sander. It is. Oh, I moved my jack a little bit when I put out the sphere. Okay. Oh, this is a 180 grid. And because the piece was clean enough to start with a 180. Now it's not perfect, but I will turn or move the sphere by 90 degrees. Now I have one half sanded and the second half not sanded. I'll move it again. Now I have 3/4 are sanded, and now the last quarter is from here to here. I could put it also here. It's not that important, but I have the use to put it exactly in the center. Okay, and then I check about tear outs here. I can still see some of my lines, so I will put it random to clean what's to clean. I have a little tear out here. You can see that probably here, but
Oh yeah, just a little bit.
it's not it's
Fine
not
vision.
worth to talk about. And I have still one little, oh, I lost it. One little sign of my pencil. Don't know where I lost it. So
It's part of the grain.
it looks probably it was part of the grain. Yes, I love the grain. Huh? It is a nice piece. Okay, so that's enough. I would go ahead with sanding 240, 320 probably, or also 400, but that's just the same procedure. So I won't annoy you with this. But I would like to show you one thing. I forgot. I didn't need it, but sometimes when you have pieces of wood like this one, very compact, it is hard to make it stay in the jug. Now this one works very well, and if you have this problem, I am I'm a climber, and this is my magnesia bag, and you just can use a little bit of the magnesia and put it on the rim, on the inner rim of your jam jack, and then your piece of wood, no, it doesn't fit better, but it holds better, much better. And no, this is not fig, this is olive wood. Sometimes I notice the comment, so I answer immediately. That works very, very well. So that's the stuff also in sport they use
Chalk. Hand chalk.
chalk. Yeah, it's chalk. Yeah, exactly. And that works very well. So if you have sometimes a trouble to make hold your stuff in a jam jack, not only the spheres, you can use a little bit of chalk, and that helps a lot. Now
I will try that.
I'm a climber, so I tried that because I use I have it hanging here always, no, and then I always when I'm in the rocks, I go to take some chalk, and then it works better. So I thought, yeah, if it works on the rocks, it will work also on wood, and it does. So
Wow.
I just want to enhance the grain a little bit, because you can see it, but if I enhance that a little bit, you can see it better. And camera. Okay, I have here an oil and how. So someone wrote, I talked about fig in the beginning, but wasn't this wood, but it was one I showed you. This is olive wood, and have a look at this.
Yeah, look at that grain.
The grain in olive wood is always really interesting. So
beautiful.
If you see
highly,
this side,
highly figured.
it's very, very high figured. Yes, exactly. And you can see this side. It's quite boring. There is no figuring, but if you see the end grain part, it is really fantastic.
Yeah, that's just lekker.
Okay.
My.
I think that's it. Did I miss something, or do you miss something?
No, I don't think so. Does anybody have any questions about the demonstration tonight?
No, that
Either
was
on the back
incredible.
hollowing
Great.
or the turning of the spear?
it was very informative. That was very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me talk just for a second about oils, and probably you know, but I always it's important to me to repeat that all the time. A lot of oils are highly auto-combustible, I think.
Yes.
Is that correct, said?
Yep. That's correct.
So pay always attention with towels soaked with oil. Put them in a jar with a cover, or put it in the fire immediately. I don't have a fire here, but perhaps you have. Really important. Pay attention with soaked towels or oil soaked towels, just to say.
Can you point
Excellent.
the camera? Can you point the camera back at the ground so I can see those hollow forms that you're hiding behind that bandsaw?
Oh,
You
yeah,
mean
Kelly,
you
Kelly
mean
didn't get to see the hollow forms. Can
you
you hold
mean
them up and show him?
the colored
Oh,
ones?
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, of course. I can bring them close to the camera. Let's start with my preferred one. This has a name, but now I don't remember. Oh, this uh, is my Greek mythology line. They are all out of maple. It's a maple burl, and it's a man-made maple burl. You know, these trees that are pruned every year completely, and then it forms a burl. And this is one of these burls. And the other one is the same wood, pruned maple, and it's a huge burl. And the third one is a birch burl.
Birch burl.
And you can see here the log, the part of the log, and it was already slightly spalted. And I started with black when I colored it, and it turned very, very black. And in the beginning, when I started with this black, and with the next sanding paper, it didn't turn mostly white. I was a little bit disappointed. But and then this piece laid around for more than 1 year, and I really was disappointed. I wasn't happy with the result, and then I decided to go ahead, and now I really love the backside, because you have these spots, and you can't see that now, but if you look at from the different sides, it changes a little bit color. And then I have the part of the burl, and the burl is really spectacular.
Spectacular. I see a gnome. There's a gnome in it.
Oh, I think I
yeah,
can
there
see
is a lot in
myself.
it.
Yeah.
There is really a lot in it. And then when I
Wow.
color these pieces, of course I'm not able, or of course, yeah, I am not able to maintain clean all these bark
Voids.
in parts. And so at the end, these are gilded with gold dust.
Yeah.
I have seen that someone asked about man-made pearls. So I don't know, but here in my place we have. I didn't tell that in the beginning, but I live in Switzerland. Yeah, but I live in the Italian part of Switzerland. So I live quite close to Milan, but in Switzerland, on the lake of Lugano, not on the lake, but lake, but close to the lake. And on all these streets along the lake, we have or London plane, also called sycamore, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Or maples, but also linden or lime wood.
Linden. Yep.
And they are pruned every winter completely. So these are only these trees with the main branches, but all the small branches are completely cut away. And let me just I can show you one. I have one outside here. This is one of these burls, and
Nice.
oh yeah, that it will be one more of these colored pieces. I have to. It is quite heavy, but I yeah. Let me check if you can see that. Why? Oh, there's something on the camera that doesn't work. But oh, I used this one. I used this one. That is even better. Okay, you can see these small branches here, and oh, this one, for example, is a branch that has been cut, and it is already punky here, and all this burl has been or is created by this annually pruning or cutting away all the branches, and then the tree tries to recover the cut branch, and for doing that he has to push a little bit on the left and on the right, and then you have compressed fibers there, and then when he is on the other side of the cut branch, he has a lot of space and can close, and we have more open grain, and so in the open grain parts, we'll see that also on this one. In the more open grain, the color soaks deeper, and in the close grain, the color soaks less, and that's what creates this optical depth at the end in these pieces. You can see here, let me have a look. Here, for example, you don't see that very well. It's a little bit dark. This is a cut branch. When you see a straight line like this in a tree, it's a cut branch. It's not natural. Yeah, that's these two, the blue and the red one, are created by this, while the birch one is a natural burl.
For your finish, what do you use for the final finish on it to make it so shiny?
Yeah, it's a gloss lacquer.
Okay.
It's a gloss lacquer. Yeah, I
Many
tried several. I like using wax, but in these pieces with all these holes, I'm not able to burnish very well the wax or to polish very well the wax, because I always risk to and they destroy the rims or so. When I have the pieces with these holes, I use lacquer, and the gloss lacquer enhances even more what I colored. The depth I had is enhanced again by the gloss lacquer.
Very good. Anybody else have any questions? Oh, how many layers?
How many layers? Yeah. Also, I can tell you, I tried. I had a spray for lacquer spray. I don't have the lacquer pistol. I have the spray lacquers, the rattle can lacquers, and on the red one, I have 7 cans, 14 layers.
Wow.
And then I changed product, and on the green one or the blue one, I have 1.5 can and 4 layers. Same result. So
Very good.
quality is important.
Yes.
It is an expensive one. It's not a cheap one, but at the end, it's much cheaper.
Do you buff in between each spray?
I use a sanding sealer. After the sanding sealer, I sand it a little bit back, yes. Then I put on 3 layers of lacquer, and only after the 3rd layer, I sand back and put on the 4th. That's what I do usually. And then, you know, sometimes you don't work so well with the sanding sealer, and that means that you have to put on a 5th layer of lacquer. That could be, but usually it's 1 coat of sanding sealer, 6 coats of colors, 1 coat of sanding sealer, sanding back, not to arrive on the color, and then 3 layers of lacquer, sanding by hand, not on the lathe. On the lathe, but by hand. So, and then a last layer of lacquer.
Very good. Anyone else have any questions? No? Well, I for one will be trying both those techniques that you showed on turning the spear, laying it out the way you did, using the jam chuck the way you did. And I've done back hollowing before, but now I know the point. I know what I was doing wrong before. The fulcrum point against the actual vessel wall.
Yeah, that's important. That's very important.
That is
yeah. It is. That's very important. Exactly. This
that will allow you to go
there.
deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fulcrum on the rim. That's very important. So when you, for example, create an egg cup. That's what we did during my my apprenticeship. Hundreds and hundreds of egg cups.
Oh wow!
So we had a jack to hammer in the blank, and on this blank we created usually 3 cups, egg cups. So I turned the cylinder with the maximum diameter, and then I had a template for the length and whatever. Yeah. And then before I made the shape of the egg cup, I did the back hollowing, because the rim at the end was just 2 mils about. Yeah. Or even less. So if you use the rim as a fulcrum, and the rim is only 2 mils, you will break it out. So just hollow it first, and then do the final shape outside. That's very important. Right.
Good to know. Excellent. God, just excellent tips.
Thank you very much.
Very enjoyable evening.
Thank you very much.
I hope you understand what I
we do.
I tried to
It was
Yeah,
very
my English is a little bit poor.
Fabulous.
Nein, English. Sprechen Sie English ganz gut.
Yeah.
Danke. But
it's much,
because
Sir better meinen Deutsch.
my, I mean, normally I have to talk in Italian the whole day because I'm in the Italian part and my customers and my courses is everything in Italian. So my two languages are German and Italian. And then only then English. So
and the dialect in that area. Yeah.
Can I ask us a stupid question? What is your YouTube channel? What was your YouTube channel?
So
my
I'll
YouTube
put
channel.
his social media back up.
Yeah.
Let me add that back again. Here we go. Share. There you go, Al.
Okay,
so you take a
that's
screenshot
it.
of that.
Yes.
So everybody can screenshot that now. And we'll have this loaded on the web page as well underneath our turners that have social media. This is something that you can send in to Dave Rhodes and get loaded.
Perfect.
I've already got that written down. It's going on.
And yeah, I do live streams usually on Saturday afternoon. That means probably for you early in the morning. And I do it usually in two languages. It depends. When I see a lot of Italians, I talk more Italian. But if I have questions in English, I try to answer that in English. And but if I have questions in German, usually I answer in English because I know that most of the German people talks English, and I don't want to add one more language. I'm thinking about changing and doing two live streams, one in English and one in Italian, because it's sometimes a little bit of confusion, but that means also more time for me. So I have to think about that.
Oh, it'll work out either way. That's great. Well, for one, I am extremely happy. I know we've been talking for quite a while, and it's just so wonderful to be able to finally get you on and to see some of your expertise. So we'll have you back on again, whenever you're available.
I would be happy. I would be happy to come back. And someone asked, do you ever come in USA? I think I saw that.
Yep.
And yeah, I would like.
Maybe sometime. Yeah.
If I like doing I like more doing live demonstrations than online demonstrations, of course, because it's more authentic, and I even perform better, I think.
Yeah. Wow.
And so if I can do a demo, that would be a good reason to come.
Absolutely. Sure is. All right. Well, everybody, put your hands together and thank Matthias for it. It was an awesome dance.
I have one more thing. More thing. Sorry, I forgot that before, but I have also two handouts.
Oh yes, sorry, I forgot to show those.
Yeah, I have them here too. Oh, I'm not able to.
I will send them to Dave for the website.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank
Let me try. I have to do that here, not here. Yeah, of course. So this is a step-by-step file with only photos, but step by step, starting with a sphere, and then yeah, everything we talked about today. And then I have the second one, too big also this one, sorry. From step 9 to step, I think step 13 and 14 are inverted, sorry. and yeah, that's I think you can find this on the chat or where, Dane?
Yep.
On the chat.
Yeah, he
I'll
will
get
put,
it
he will
sent
put it
into
on the,
to the web.
it'll be
I
on
will
our
put it on the
our
website.
website.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, so that is one more help for you, because I know exactly how it is. You think to remember everything, but tomorrow is another day. And yeah, so these two files can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be with you this evening or this morning. I slept 3 hours before, and then I had my clock on 12 o'clock, and I woke up. I didn't stay awake until 1 o'clock. Not able.
No worries. Yeah.
It was a very enjoyable evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Also for me, very,
Sure.
very much.
Very
And
enjoyable.
I will be happy to be back
Very enjoyable.
with another theme.
Okay.
Then we
Matthias,
will
talk.
stay.
We will talk.
We will
Matthias,
talk for sure.
Yes.
that
Yes.
was a great demonstration. Absolutely great demonstration.
We really
Thank you
want
very much.
All that beer over the weekend, I must have taught you very good English, because your English was good tonight.
Thank you very much. I had the luck to meet Martin this weekend, so I already had to talk English, so it was it was a little bit fresh.
Well, thank you for staying up so late. This was very enjoyable.
We're just going to get you.
Matthias, we understand how difficult it is to understand Martin. We have to put up with him every week.
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine what it would be like if you would hear me try to tell you something in Italian or German. So there's a lot of respect of people trying to learn.
Thank you. No, understanding Martin is nothing, but understanding Chris.
Yeah, Chris. Yeah. Genau. Hauptsache.
Yeah, Chris is entertaining.
I just try to laugh in the right moment.
Yeah, right.
And making like this in the right moment and like this in the right moment, but I'm not sure if I did everything well.
Right. That's when you look at everybody else. What is everybody else doing? Just like that.
That's it. Yeah.
This? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Dane, the one thing we need to get to do is just tie Matthias up so that he promises to come back and show some of his colouring, because I saw some of his colouring over the weekend, and I know there was an awful lot of comments tonight when Matthias showed his 3 pieces of work by his bandsaw.
Yes.
And for all he didn't have a lot of timber with him at the weekend because he didn't want to bring it over the borders, the items that he was creating over the weekend were stunning. So force him back and get him to show us some of his coloring techniques.
Well, that's where, me being the demo meister, I kind of pigeonhole, a lot of things that I really like to see and learn. And so, I like dyeing mine, putting color on Menenholz as well. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Coloring techniques would be awesome.
Coloring
I know
is,
Matt Harder would
is
like
my
that, and a few
thing.
others.
I love coloring, and especially this technique, but I do also other colorings. And gilding. I love this golden rims too, and I have a lot of that's a thing I started in probably 2015. Yeah, after many years of wood turning. No. After many years of wood turning, you're bored with all this just round and brown, and I started in 15 about, and I saw pieces on Facebook and I loved them really very much. And then I tried to do the same. But I was never very happy about my results because I had a complete lack of depth. And the depth is everything in the colors, in this kind of colors. The depth is everything. And then I checked who made all these pieces. Indeed, it was always the same guy. You know him for sure. It's Phil Irons. And then I said, okay, just let me call Phil Irons. I called him and I went in his shop for 4 days, and that improved my coloring technique so much, and I'm still very thankful to him for that. Yeah,
For sure. All right. Well, with that, we will say auf Wiedersehen for now, and we will definitely have you back.
when I have another holiday the day after.
Yeah. In a couple days, I'll get your holiday schedule.
Great demo, Matthias. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Indeed.
And Matthias, don't be booking these demos in the States until I've got you over to England.
Oh,
first.
yeah, right. Oh, sorry. Of course.
Yeah, right.
Great demo.
Good stuff.
Really
Good stuff.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go in reverse here. So let's go to Safety Sue and get our safety moment.
Have you got me?
I will watch that. I'll watch that too.
Oh, you do? Well, thank you.
Yeah, I do, of course. Now I'm awake enough, so I will stay a while more with you.
Yeah, drink some beer makes it better.
Yeah, it does.
or the wine.
The Jack Daniels little cooler things they have in a can. But anyways, let's talk about safety. I went and I ordered the safety for wood turners from the AAW, the American Association of Wood Turners. Anybody can go on their site and order. If you're a member, you can download it. Well, I did download it, but it's not the same as picking it up and saying, hey, this is what we've got. So I'm not going to read anything to you, but I'm going to start going over this in the coming weeks. And it's not boring, guys. It really isn't. They've got great pictures and great suggestions for maintaining safety. Now, one of them was, are you wearing the right safety shield? We did that last week, but you can never have too much of that. Hard something advice from the that's hard one device advice from the Ozarks, and safety for wood turners on the edge of disaster. We got all kinds of them. Checklists, safety lessons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Safety lessons, you got safety equipment and safety equipment for dust at the lathe and with dust solutions. Bandsaws. I like the bandsaw safety tips because we all need them, we all use them. Chainsaw. They have a lot of chainsaw tips. And when we get closer to talking about chainsaws, I'm going to get Scott to help me out. What was that? Anyways, fitness in the wood turning shop. If I show you what they show as fitness in the wood turning shop, I don't know where they got this guy to pose, but he was in his underwear. So it cracked me up. But basically, if anybody has seen hand stretches and arm stretches for carpal tunnel, that's basically what they're saying. But we will go over that. Maybe one day you can never even see the picture. We have first aid for wood turners. They have some pretty gruesome safety things and how to be prepared. So folks, I'm not going to read anything tonight to you, basically, because my eyes won't let me, but I really want to get going on this for the rest of the year. So I hope you're all safe. Remember, we are responsible for the safety in our own shop and the safety of any people or animals that are in your shop. So take care, and I hope to see you next week. Be safe.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's,
Sue.
It's time for show and tell.
Yes.
let's go to a little bit of show and tell then. We got you, Howard.
Hey, how is everybody tonight? Yeah, I'm all
Doing
here.
good.
Hey, I'm sorry that I didn't turn an egg for the Easter challenge, but I finally got caught up and did it.
Oh my goodness.
Holy crap.
That's beautiful.
That's
Yeah.
very Fabergé-ish.
It is.
Yes.
It's what it is. I looked at a Fabergé, went online looking at Fabergé eggs and found one that's similar to this. And it took me a while to finally get it done, but I finally did it. The egg itself is quilted maple, and all the rest of it, the base and the top is cherry, and the belt is maple, is just regular maple, what you call, I don't know, soft maple maybe. But of course, these aren't real pearls, but they kind of look like it anyway. But the mesh is flat aluminum wire, and it took me about 10 hours to put the mesh on, because what I had to do, you'll notice there are different angles. I took whole pieces and did one direction, but then the other direction, like this in here, I had to use little bitty pieces. I had to cut them and make them fit, and to make them fit. And I used contact cement to put all these together. My original plan was to do 2 eggs. I would put this is the regular one, and then I'd put an outside egg, a real thin one, and then go back and cut use carving to cut these openings. Well, I did that on one using basswood. It was just terrible because it's basswood, so tears out so easily. So I went ahead and did another one with maple, but I didn't get it right, and so I wasn't happy with that. So I decided to go with these, and so anyway, but like all Fabergé eggs, you got to have an inside, something that will make it everything on the inside. See, so you have
Wow. Wow.
you know,
I love it.
There's an end game. You knew there was an end game. Howard.
Howard, is that threaded?
What's that? It's threaded. Yeah, it's threaded. Yeah, it's threaded. See,
Wow. Yeah, I see it.
threads, inside threads.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
What TPI did you use, Howard?
Sir?
What TPI did you use for threading?
It's from Kitchen Age or I forget. It's a jig I bought from some guy that makes stuff all on his own. It's called Kitchen Age or Kitchen Crafts or something. I can't remember the name of it.
Chefware.
Chefware kits?
Yeah, that guy.
I think it's maybe 16. I think it's 16.
Yeah, and anyway, that's what I used, and so all the gold color is gold leaf, and
Beautiful.
Wow.
so anyway,
That's really pretty.
Yeah, it is. So
well done.
Move your fingers. Let's see the base.
The base is just something I kind of put together today. Here, I'll just take the egg off like this, okay, and lay it down. And here's the base. Here. It's just made out of cherry, and it's something I kind of threw together, but what the challenge was getting the gold leaf on it all the way around. And because that stuff is hard to work with, and it sticks to everything.
I think my challenge would have been making what you're showing, not the gold leaf. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And so
you made like a vase, and then you carved the four sides out.
Oh, right here? You talking about this?
The shape of it itself.
Oh,
so
well,
you
no,
made
each leg,
what
I did was each leg I cut out with a scroll saw. Okay. I had a piece of cherry that was roughly, almost 3/8 thick by so long and so wide. And I just made a pattern on it of each leg. So I cut out the 4 legs with a scroll saw, and then I sanded them in one thing or two. And same thing with this top too. See, so I did
beautiful.
I didn't do any carving or anything on that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I thought maybe you folks would enjoy looking at that, and I appreciate you letting me show it.
So, well, absolutely,
Very nice.
always.
That's beautiful.
How long did it take you to do, Joey?
It'll be up on our Facebook page probably tomorrow. I got a couple.
Well, more importantly, are you going to send photos into the newsletter?
Yes, I'll send it to the newsletter tomorrow as well. So
okay.
So
how long did it take you to do that, Joey?
Well, with all the experimenting and the trying and everything over, I've been working on it now for about 10 days. Like I said, the most thing it took the longest to do was this mesh. And it took me about 10 hours to do it. Now the beads, it only took me maybe a couple hours to do those, is all. And then turning the egg itself, I did something on turning the egg I never done before, and that's shadow turning. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it, but that's something what you do. You put a light up above your lathe, and with a very, very narrow beam. I get a floodlight, and I put a piece of I don't know what it was, something thin with a 1/2-inch hole in it, and then shine it down on the lathe, and then you have a piece of paper underneath and you have the pattern, the outline that you want to cut on that paper, and then that shadow, you just follow the shadow on the paper, And that way you can get the shape. You can do the same thing with spheres or anything. You know, if you can get an outline of it to put underneath it, then you can just follow that shadow up to that line and you'll have what you want. So
Cool.
that's how I did this
Great
one.
idea.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Very cool.
anyway, any other questions or anything about this?
No, that's just beautiful.
Well,
Did a
thank you
great
very
job.
much. Thank you very much. So
Yeah, okay. You just since you turned it, did you make the threads first? Because okay, how did you hold that top part in order to turn those threads?
well, what you do is you hollow it out first. You just have yourself a blank and you
Right.
hollow out the blank. All right. And you leave it in the chuck. And you take the chuck off with this in it and you set it to the side. Then the bottom part, you go ahead and get the threads that you need, the size that you're going to have to make up for this. You know, these threads are about, this diameter is about 40 thousandths larger than the inside diameter of this.
Mhm.
And then you go ahead and you turn, you put the threads on this. And once you get the threads on this, you put, then you can test it. And if you need to, you can cut the threads a little bit deeper until you get it to where it will turn on this fairly easily, like this. And
Right. So before you did the whole creation, the threads were first.
yeah, the threads went on right after the hollowing on this.
Right.
There was nothing. This wasn't even shaped, but I went ahead and then put the threads on this part. Okay.
Yeah.
To make sure everything matched up, because I didn't want to go through all the problems of shaping this up and then make the threads and the threads wouldn't match up. So
Of course not.
so because shaping is the easy part, making the threads is real critical because like you said, you got to have this about 40 thousandths larger in the diameter than the inside diameter of your threads here.
Right.
So
I'm teaching myself threading, and believe me, size is everything.
Yes. So that's
Believe me.
Dave Rhodes. This is a
all
good
you guys,
segment to flip out.
size is everything.
yeah,
That's a great job. That's a beautiful job.
what you can do is, of course, if you're doing side grain, if you're cutting into side grain, you're going to get some tear out. And what I do is once I get the size I want, then I'll put some CA glue on it to kind of harden it up. Then I'll cut my threads and then I'll put CA glue on it again and then recut them such that then you kind of minimize a tear out. Now, if you do get tear out or whatever, you can always take what I use is a carbide cutter that's got a real sharp point on it. It's a diamond one that's got a real sharp point on it. Then you can just kind of gently go through all these threads to clean the crap out of them. And that way you don't you can reduce the drag. You can always put some wax on them too, to make them go a little bit better, but really it's easier. You get better threads by threading end grain than side grain, because side grain, have more tendency to tear out, where with the end grain, you're cutting the threads in between the fibers and you don't get much tear out. Right. And so you get better threading with end grain than you do with side grain. But this is all side grain here. So
plus it's
very
alternating.
Nice. Very nice job.
Thank you very much.
Great job. Thanks, Howard.
You betcha. Y'all have a good night.
All right.
Very good job.
Al, you're up next.
I'm not gonna follow that. I'll be real quick. I know there's a lot of people want to show stuff. You talked about things that you did when you first started, and see what kind of progress. This was my very first bowl. So and I kept it around.
Pretty wood.
Pardon?
Pretty wood.
Yeah, I think maybe it's spalted maple, maybe. And I progressed a little bit. Put a bowl on a platter.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
Very
and
nice.
again, I was getting some cracks, and what I do is I had only a 16th inch drill bit, and I drilled at the end of these cracks, and wood kind of seems to work a little bit like glass. If you could maybe, now I haven't finished this yet, you can still see the hole right there, but it stops the cracks so much. I mean, that I've experienced it. We had a demonstrator here, and I think his whole thing was wood moves, and he gave us all kind of ideas, and that was one of them that seems like it works for me. I have to hide that and stuff, but just some more information. That's all. I don't want to waste much time. There's a lot of people that want to see, show things.
No worries,
Everybody
Al.
have a good night.
All right, thank you, Al. All right, let's go to Mr. Edwards. Dave, we got you. Unmute yourself.
I think I did, didn't I?
Yep, we got you now.
Okay. I'm back to the resin and walnut, and I'm just going to show you this. It's a part that I thought was going to be okay, but there's too many flaws. So there's a flaw on the inside where a bubble didn't come through, and for some reason or other, I got some shavings up in there for the wood. But the best part of us is that I had this here.
Oh yeah, that looks great, Mark.
Beautiful.
Really nice.
Good job on that.
And that's the first one that I ever made. And
wow.
I cut each one of them separately, each piece.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it looks good, Dave.
So
yeah, that's great.
I don't know if it shows, but if you look around where the ring here is, where one piece of the wood had sank when I went and pressed on it, or when I put it in the pour or whatever, when I was pouring the resin, and for some reason or other it was it was sort of out of shape. I think you can see it right through here. It's lower than the rest of it, so the top ring here sort of like protects it, but you can't really see it. If
you'd have a person would have to look for it,
Yeah,
I see what you're talking about, but only people like us
not
would
obvious
know
by any stretch.
Yeah,
nobody else would notice that, Dave.
I think this one right here is one that's down lower than the other.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's bubbles that didn't come out through the pressure pot, and so I've got one area here. I don't know if I can show it to you or not. It's probably, well, no, not that one. Well, it's right here. It would be right here where my finger is. You can sort of see it that the bubble is not even.
Yeah, you can kind of see it, but like I said, nobody else is going to know the difference.
Yeah, but my wife said that, well, that's okay. And then she put an order in for 7 of them.
Outstanding. There you go. See what you win
for Christmas
in
gift,
trouble.
for Christmas gifts.
See what you get.
Yeah, that's what you get.
So
that's what you
like
get.
I said, that's the first one I ever made, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to repeat it or not.
It is gorgeous.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Thank you
good stuff there.
Thank you for letting me show it.
Well, of course.
Very
of course. Good to see you. It's been a while since you've been in.
Yeah, yeah. I've been busy with like this here. This took a long time to
Yeah,
do.
yeah. No, you've been busy. All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's go to Mr. Miller. Hey, Doug.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Hit that
Thank
button.
Matthias.
There we go. All right. Couple of things. The store that I show a lot of my stuff in, they had these little bitty, about 1.5 inch honey dippers, and I saw those things, and I thought, y'all can do better than that. She said, I know, but that's all they had, and I thought, let me see what I can do. And in the back of my mind, I remembered Martin Clarkson saying you had to do something or they're just not right. And so I sent him a message and he sent me one right back and he encouraged me highly. And get that where you can see it. Now that's a little rich. It's black walnut for a honey dipper. But these edges here, being rounded. Martin, thank you so much for that hint. There's another one, slightly different. Excuse me?
I said it makes a difference.
Yes, yes, yes. There's another one with a little different handle, a little bit longer dipper. She is so excited. I should send her a picture of those, and she is super excited. And then yesterday I had to do yet another demo, and I came up with a pretty interesting piece. That's cherry. Um, that's the remnants of being rotted or rotting on one side. A little bit more there. There you can see the clear grain on it. But anyway, just a nice little box. There's nothing real special about it, but it's a demo, and it came out real nice. Wax finish on everything, so it all comes out feeling pretty good in the hand. So that's it for me
Yeah,
this week.
outstanding.
Hey,
Thank you.
Doug.
All right, thank you,
Yeah.
Doug.
Hey, Doug, what'd you finish your honey dippers with?
Wax, just plain wax, carnauba wax, so it's still food safe.
So you got it inside the grooves?
For the most part, yeah. I have I've got a little. The only time I use a rag is with my wax and application. I keep it it's about a 2-inch square, and I just had it folded, turning slowly, and I stuck it down in the grooves. Does that make sense?
Yep. I
That's
just
what I
got to
did.
crank that speed up and just hold it out there. And as long as you're holding it taut and you're not trying to wrap it around, it's not going to grab.
Right. I had it slow to put it
Turn
in,
it in.
and then I got rid of the rag, and I used a paper towel to buff it at high speed. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
But still food safe. Carnauba is a food safe wax.
Right on. Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, let's go to Mr. Harbor. Got a whip.
Okay. Well, this one was the piece that I painted last weekend.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, you froze up. Let's come back to him. Let's go to Mr. Duxbury.
Hey. Oh,
There he is.
Here.
You froze up, Matt.
You froze
All
up,
right.
Matt.
I was showing this one. Did y'all see this?
There
Yeah.
you
No.
go.
This
That's
is from the
you were
demo from
working on
last
week.
Yeah, this is the one I painted in the demo last week.
Right.
And that is now on YouTube. So that's the shape of it. And then
Looks great.
this piece here, this is a box elder vase that I carved. And I've been trying a bunch of different painting techniques and so on. So I'm happier with this right now. I tried a gradient variation and I wasn't happy with it. And so I did a bunch of other different things. So
Looks great.
it's not done yet, or it's close to done, but I did some did some in here too. So, and on this bit, which I don't know if you can actually see. Yeah, there it is. All right. So I tried a bunch of different techniques, so in different places to see what worked. So there you go.
You're gonna make it. You're gonna make a cap and finial for that.
Am I going to do what?
Are you going to make a cap and finial for that face?
I have no intention of making a cap and finial for it.
Okay. Now you're gonna now you're gonna go to bed and think about it.
I don't think I would either, Matt.
I've been sleeping on the design of this for days, so it's
Yeah.
changed every day. It changes, so it's no. I don't think I'm gonna put a capper or finial on it.
Yeah,
The
I
mouth
don't
is a
blame you. I
little
like
too
it like it
wide.
is.
Looks great.
Sounds
like
like
that,
you're
Matt.
sounds
Looks
like you're ready to be
great.
done with it.
Yeah, I am, and I'm happy with it is right now. Happier than I've been in 2 days, so that probably is the sign. So
Yeah, right on, man.
Looks great.
thank you very much, everybody.
All right, let's go to Mr. Duxbury.
Yeah. Okay. Great stuff tonight. Back in April, April 8th, we had a total eclipse come through over the United States. We didn't get to see it. But anyway, I turned this tray. This is in this is half and half wood, dark and light. So you got a light handle on one side and a dark one on the other. But I call it my eclipse tray because that's what we were looking.
I love those handles.
That's beautiful, Jim. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So your handles, okay, the handles also, right? Okay, I see. All right, okay.
But turned on a faceplate. But being offset with the wood offset, you can get. In fact, you can get even more exaggerated. I could get more white on this side, or less white on this side, and more dark on this side. Or on the back, you could make. I guess the tips of these with the dark wood on it, but by angling this a little more, I could change that. But then it's about what I wanted. Anyway,
Looks great.
thank you.
Very nice. It's a neat idea.
Good job, Jim. I like it.
Yeah.
What else you got?
That's it for now.
That's it. What about Rita?
Rita, no, she's in the other room.
Okay.
I'm not seeing so good. I had a cataract operation just a few hours ago, so I'm only doing one eye tonight.
Okay.
But I can see better. It's fabulous.
Outstanding.
Good deal.
That's
great.
As always. Thanks, Jim. All right, let's go to Mr. Burt. Billy, we got you now.
Hey, everybody. Well, last week I showed this pretty much in this same condition. This was the Texas Persimmon Bowl. It's spalted. That's what this dark color actually is spalted. It doesn't follow the grain lines at all. The rest of the tree, or further up on the tree, there isn't any of this brown in it. But it is pretty much the same condition it was in, except I've added the butterflies. And I decided to use real butterfly shapes instead of just the regular bow ties. And this thing cracks when you look at it wrong. And so I had to put quite a few in it.
But that's a great idea. I've enjoyed watching all of the steps.
I'm glad you followed through on that after we talked about it last week. That's awesome.
So I really like them. Now I had a couple of burn errors, either due to settings or my stupidity, one of the two, and it burned through in a couple of spots underneath where the butterflies were, and I didn't like that, so I filled them with mother of pearl like I did this crack initially, and I think it gives it
I like it.
A cool look, and that it's not going to get much shinier than this. I got to put a few more coats of Danish oil on it, but it's I don't want it shinier than that. But if you let the light hit that African mahogany just right, the chatoyance in that mahogany is just awesome.
The shape is really pretty. The shape is just it meets the color of the wood.
Thanks. Anyway, that's all I got.
Very nice, Billy.
On.
Thank you.
Thanks, Billy. All right, let's go to Howard. We got you now, Howard.
Hey, great demo. And dadgum, I have to follow all these people, Billy and Mr. Duxbury and Matt. Fantastic night tonight. Lots of beautiful stuff. And I'm kind of ashamed to even show this. This was a piece of am that I got at a meeting, won a raffle on it, and it was curved. It was bold, and I didn't know what I could do with it. So thought I'd turn a little flying saucer out of it. So I don't know if you can see it.
I love it. I
Anyway,
think it's really cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Spirograph.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
How'd
go,
you cut- how'd you
spirograph.
cut your- How'd you cut your spirals in there?
Well, I kind of drew them myself. So anyway, not too
Well,
good.
outstanding. That's a great job.
Yeah, it looks great, Howard.
Well, it's not.
Yeah,
I got off. It's not perfect. So anyway, but anyway.
Hey, it looks
So anyway.
for me. It looks like an atom.
Yeah,
the molecular
Could be, yeah.
atom. That's where my eyes go.
That's it.
Yep.
Anyway,
Looks perfect
there we
to
go.
me.
Cool.
And then the same with the top. You hand draw all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or try to.
Wow.
I'm not that good,
So-
Howard. I have to cheat and use a laser.
Hey, but maybe I ought to spend some money and buy one. Do that.
Oh, it looks great the way you do it.
So Howard, which iteration? How many times did you go at that before you decided, yeah, that's what I want? Before
Well, I used about half of the eraser on it.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
real
don't
big
know how many
eraser, or a
times.
little eraser.
A big eraser.
Holy
Oh,
cow.
about four or five times, and once I got to this part here, I kept changing it, and finally I said, "Heck, I'm just going to do something. Forget it." So that's what I
Yeah.
did. So
It looks great.
Really
Hey,
nice.
what about that ambrosia maple urn that you did? Posted it the other day.
yeah, I sold it.
Oh, it's already gone. Okay, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful too. Okay.
Well, thanks. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Let's go to Joaquin. Hey, Joaquin.
Hey there. All right, let's see. There's been something on my bucket list for a while, and I was inspired by Rita Duxbury to turn one from some classes she's done and some she showed me, and so I finally got around to doing one. And
Nice.
this,
wow.
I like it.
This is a piece. It's pine actually, and left the bark on the bottom. Now, a friend of mine told me I needed to put a board on the bottom and put a bunch of blue epoxy or something on the bottom of it. And that's
No,
funny.
that's perfect.
I'm sorry.
That's perfect. I wouldn't change a thing.
No, I wouldn't either. I love it.
But the funny thing is that at SWAT last year, we had them candles, and I stole these lights out of the candle, and I told them I was going to come up with something to put it in. And anyway, this is a total inspiration of Rita, and she taught some classes up there. At Campbell, J.C. Campbell?
No, at Aramont.
Aramont, yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you turn the light? How do you turn the light on and off?
Well, I got it. Right.
Okay, right. That's okay.
It's a 6 hour.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
With
That was
the
one of
button.
the candles that you stole from me.
And so
yourself.
I was going to do the Hatteras, copy the Hatteras Lighthouse, but this is also pine, and I'm not sure I'm happy with the bottom, but I think it needs to be a little more narrow. I don't know. this is, the Hatteras is black and white down there.
I like the lighthouse.
Yeah.
I'm with you on the bottom. Yeah.
I don't know, man. The base kind of looks like a bulkhead.
Yeah, I just thought it might be, the bottom may be too tall. I need to cut it down a little bit, but I don't know.
How do you get the lights in and out or turn them on and off?
Yeah.
The top is just sets on there and
Oh, okay, cool.
you take it out.
It was so simple when you showed it the first time. You got to show it again 30 seconds later.
Well, he was busy. I bet.
I look down.
But Rita,
Sorry,
thank
Joaquin.
you very much, Rita, for the inspiration. Yeah.
I really like both of them, especially the one with the natural edge on the bottom.
Oh, yeah,
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Excellent pieces both.
Well, it's funny. The first one I did, some people asked me to put into a show, some things in a sculpture show, and I put it in the show and priced it, I thought, too high to sell, and it sold.
And you lost it.
Yeah, I did. And yeah. Anyway.
Big ones though.
You know, Rita's going to be doing those at SWAT, I think.
Yeah, she is. That's what I heard.
She's practicing.
I look forward to it. I'll be in her class.
So do we. So do we.
Yeah.
Dana, I can show a
good
couple
stuff.
more.
And they had a
All right, Jim.
They had a cancellation at SWAT, and Pat called me up to demo, and so I'm going to be demoing my cranes at SWAT this year alongside Jim and Rita.
Wonder who?
Fabulous.
Oh, outstanding, Joaquin.
I wonder who canceled. That's weird. It wasn't me.
And Scott's going to be there.
Oh,
Yeah.
we know it wasn't Hampton.
There was some people that hadn't got their paperwork in yet. They was dragging their feet, and they didn't meet the deadline. So I don't know why I got called, but anyway.
Hey, Joaquin. Hey,
Yeah.
Joaquin. Hey, up at the top up there where you you have the light shining through. Okay. Did you drill those holes first?
Yes, I did. Well, yes, I drilled the holes first.
So it was like, let's say a square.
No, it was round.
Okay.
All right, and I put it on my indexer, divided into 6. And
Okay.
popped it in and drilled it off the tool rest. Now this one started cracking on me, and I had to drill all the way down to keep it from cracking and shrinking. So it's drilled as long as I'm down to here anyway, to keep it from moving and cracking on.
Wow.
Wow.
So
That's a natural color then?
That's really pretty. I really like that.
thank you.
I like the spalting on that pine. That's really
Yeah,
amazing.
I don't know where it come from. I know it's pine, but I don't know where I got it from. You know.
It looks great.
I got somebody at the
You
door.
can make.
There's a couple of.
Go ahead, Joaquin. That gray blue hue on pine, you can also facilitate by putting iron acetate on the grain, and it'll turn that bluish gray color as well. All right, Jim, we got you.
Yeah, I wasn't going to show this. I showed one of these before. I turned another one of these.
Oh, that looks better than the last one.
Yeah, I'm getting better. And I'll turn more of these. I found a better way to do it. In fact,
Yeah.
It was 2:30 last night. I came up with a good way of doing this. So I got that, and then I wasn't going to show this yet, but this isn't quite done. But this is a heart-shaped bowl, bud vase.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's cool.
Turned on 2
You got it hollowed out, or is that for a test tube?
It could be hollowed out. This is just for test tube.
Yeah, I like it. Kind of like a saddle bowl.
Yeah, you have to lay it out so you get the centers here to take this arc out without taking the bottom out. So it has to be shifted down enough to do that. I draw all my work, so
then you also went down to the bottom. Went down to the bottom to make out the V, didn't you? No, I mean to spin it. I mean, so you grabbed it another way also, right?
Yeah, it had a tenon on here. It had a tenon on here. It came out. In fact, this actually came down and nicked the tenon. It had a couple of grooves in the tenon. So it was as close as I could get to being up here. But then you put it in. I made an arbor.
That's what I was looking. Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
I made an arbor to go in here and then hold this and turn the whole end.
I bet that's a crazy looking. I bet that was a crazy looking spin.
Yeah, it is kind of.
I bet it was.
A little scary when it first starts coming around. You start taking the top out of the top. You pay attention to that. That's it for me. But I like turning these, but these are really kind of dangerous. This thing, this is actually the center, and when you're turning this, it's just going around like this. When you're turning this whole thing is coming around like that, and you try to hit the end of that tip, you know. And I'll tell you, there's a few times I've been scared turning the wood, but that's one I wouldn't do too many of those. I got a better way of doing it. I think it's going to work really good.
That's great. Way your mind works, Jim.
Yeah, backwards. Yep. Anyway.
All right, thank you. Let's see. Do we have anybody else? No. All right. If I missed anybody, let me know. Otherwise, we're at the top of the hour.
Night, Jim and Rita.
And the official meeting will be ending.